And welcome back. I'll just reiterate what I said in the out of the theater reaction. What the hell happened here? I saw the first Five Nights at Freddy's. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was not a perfect film. It was a kind of clunky film in many ways, but it had enough going for it that I had a good time in it. That's not the case here. The amount I enjoyed is very small. Now, real quick, there were two comments that got made in the out of theater reaction that I wanted to address outright. One person said, the marionette is the same in the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 game, right? Is this rage bait? Okay, that's a dumb comment because not everyone plays the goddamn games. And don't give me the argument of, well, then why are you seeing the movie? Because I at least know of the IP and wanted to see the movie. Not everyone who sees a movie based on an IP knows about the source material beforehand, okay? So that was a dumb comment. I'm sorry, that was a dumb comment. I'm not trying to be mean, but that was a dumb comment. And then this person also made a dumb comment. People being dumb and people being bad people. Yeah, it sounds like every horror movie ever made. Have you never ever watched any movie? Have you not watched any before? And then they comment about why the animatronics are able to be stealthy. I'll address why that doesn't actually work in a second. But let's address that for a second. Obviously, I've seen other movies. Have you learned to be a good person? That's not a right thing to say. Have you learned that you're not as smart as you think you are making comments like that? Because, like, guy, I'm obviously I'll go into why I think each of those don't work. But beyond that, it's like I know there are tropes, but there's tropes done well, and then there's tropes that aren't done well. So I asked again. Do you think you're clever when you say that? Really? Because you're really not. You're really just you actually don't make yourself look that good when you make a comment like that. And let me get it right out of the way right now. Let's actually go into the movie. Here's the short list of things I actually liked. I think the acting's still fine. Honestly, it's fine. The acting wasn't even the best in the first movie, but it was serviceable and it's still fine here. I think the tone is still all right. It's still all right. Like, actually, I think even the tone is actually better here than in the first movie. There aren't as many kills, but the kills are still fine. And I actually do like the marionette character. When the marionette character is on screen, which isn't a lot, to be fair, it is actually a really interesting design kind of creepy-esque character, which I did appreciate. It felt more like a creepypasta, but evidently it's in the lore. Okay, great. Here's why this movie, though, is just not good. So, first of all, let's address the three things you brought up. People being dumb and people being bad. And then we'll address the animatronic thing. Sounds like every horror movie ever. Well, no, actually it doesn't. That's a blanket statement. Not every horror movie has done that. For example, The Exorcist is a horror movie. Neither of those statements apply to that movie. John Carpenter's The Thing. People being bad people. No one's in bad people in there. They're all just people trying to survive. And they're up against the alien assimilator. People being dumb? No. There's no one being dumb in that movie either. Not that I would classify as being dumb at any rate. So, yeah, I mean, do people make dumb decisions in horror movies? Yes. In fact, is it a trope? Oh, absolutely. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do that trope. When I talk about people being dumb in this movie, I mean, like, there's just parts of their brains that aren't really working. For example, a guy falls in. Happens early enough in the movie that we see it in the trailer. There's like a group of ghost hunter people who go to check out the first Freddy's. And one guy falls into the little boat river thing they had. And instead of going backwards to the entrance, he decides to go deeper in. So it's like, wait, why wouldn't you just go back? That didn't make any sense, first and foremost. But then you get decisions like not telling people things. We're going to get to that when we talk about Vanessa's character, or the actual Elizabeth's character, Vanessa, from the first movie. Because the core three come back. That's just like that. Like, that's just bad. That's literally omitting stuff to make a plot happen. Not making a plot happen. What's the best way for me to articulate this? You can have bad things happen or dumb decisions being made that actually help the plot, and then you can make those, or then you can have characters make those dumb decisions because you need something in the plot to happen. That's not helping the plot. That's doing it because you need to get from point A to point B, and a dumb decision is the only way to make it work. That's what's happening here. So that's where we draw the line at. That's where the dumb doesn't work. Now, bad people being bad people. Almost every movie, almost every like B horror movie, like the Friday the 13th, like, or whatever, even it has like a bully or just a person who's bad for the sake of being bad. First of all, no one likes those characters unless they're like mustache twirling villain, wahaha. No one likes those characters because they're just there to die. And unless you got multiple of them to spread out through the film, if you have to wait for like the first 2/3 of the film to get through for that character to die, and you're just struggling to get through with this guy, like, if you're just being an asshole to be an asshole for no other reason than your character is asshole, that's not a good character. You can be a bad person and still be a good character, or a fun character at least. Or at least play for, like, what was it? Aliens. I mentioned Alien earlier. No, I didn't mention Alien, but Aliens. I can't remember his name, but the corporate guy ends up getting, like, his head blasted in by a xenomorph, who tries to trap Ridley and Newt in that room to get his face hugger to implant him. He's a terrible person, but there's a reason he's a terrible person. We know Weyland-Yutani wants the xenomorphs, so that makes sense why he's a bad person. The only thing for Wayne Knight's character in the movie is like, I want to win the science fair. We hold a record. I want to win it, and I don't believe you're smart enough to win this. You're going to hurt us. So don't come to the science fair. Oh, you're going to come to the science fair? Well, here, let me help. Oops, I destroyed it. Oh, well, I'm going to bring in a giant animatronic. Well, I think it's like a person in a suit, so, get it out of here. Like, it's just so trite and just so freaking over the it's over the top, not because he's over the top in terms of his performance, but in terms of the type of character he's portraying, it is so over the top. So it's just, that's what I mean by dumb decisions. Oh, you want to backtrack on the dumb decision thing right now? There's a plot point in the movie, and I'm not going to spoil everything, but I'll spoil little bits, where she's kept asleep, essentially, the marionette, by a music box made by her dad. And it gets destroyed, but he gives what's his name? Mike another one, and he does that to save Amy and Vanessa at one scene. And I shit you not, I heard the entire audience basically look at the screen as he puts down the music box and turns it off and go, "Why are you turning it off?" Like then there's just world logic problems that make no sense. Vanessa gets into a car accident with Foxy. We see this in the trailer. But I'm looking at this like, okay, the car's busted. The radiator gets shot, sure. Or transmission, one of the two got shot. It doesn't matter. It was shot. But I'm looking at it as like, your head literally, boom, hit the damn wheel, and you got knocked out for a bit. How the hell did the airbag not deploy? I almost wanted to shout, how the hell did the airbag not deploy? Now maybe it's because it's an older car, because I honestly forgot when the first movie took place. It takes place in the 90s. This takes place in the early 2000s. I honestly forgot that little tidbit. Because people either being bad people or making dumb decisions harkens all the way back to the opening of the film, which I for a moment thought was a dream sequence. And it details the origin of the marionette, Charlotte, who dies. First off, are you telling me that he literally was killing kids while people were just there? Like, again, he kidnapped them. But the implication was he killed them while they were there, like while everyone was just eating pizza and whatever. Like, I'm sorry, logically, legitimately, I don't feel like there's any way he actually should have gotten away with that. Someone would have probably figured that out at some point, but that's minor. She literally sees a kid get kidnapped by Springtrap and goes to all the parents she can and Basically, and they're just like, no, go find your parent. Go find your parent. Go tell your parent. Like, there's a kid missing. Go tell your parent. Adults are talking. Not now. Leave me alone. Look, I get it's the 80s, and you can make the argument, oh, I'm on prescription drugs or cocaine. I get unintended parenting. I get that as well. Are you shitting me that not a single adult, you want me to actually, that not one adult in this entire establishment wouldn't have believed her that their kid was missing? All she would have had to do is get to the kid's mom, who had disappeared, told them a boy is missing, and have them look around for their kid. Like, have everyone do a head count real quick. I mean, but she was talking about, I mean, she's friend. Like, no, but the fact that no one is listening to her? Like, I'm sorry. There's a level suspension of disbelief I can buy. And then there's this. Yeah, and I think there's, like, they showed, like, news articles where, like, oh, someone blamed the girl or something like that. Like, I'm sorry, are you mental? She died. She got knife wounds in the back and died. Like, what the actual hell? So, like, right at the game, I'm, like, watching this, like, okay, no, this, like, I could believe maybe some of these adults doing it, but even though we see her, like, talking like 3, I guarantee she went to more. So, yeah, no bueno. And then there's the logic of of how they move around. Now, someone mentioned in the comments that same comment about, did you watch any movie? About they teleport in the game, apparently. Because they're supernatural. Except for one shot in the trailer. In the movie. Where you see one of the animatronics briefly and disappears once the light shines on it. There's no implication in either of these movies that these things teleport. None. Like, yeah, can they somehow move silently? Sure. And could you interpret that as teleportation? Okay. But the fact is, again, and this is where adaptation from a medium is important, you never once actually stated these things teleport. You never once stated that. Like, even if it was bad dialogue, at least let us know that these things actually can teleport. But you never actually in these movies let us know they can do that. Which makes the fact that they walk around all clunky and just machinery, you can hear them moving when they walk. Just make that stealth make no sense whatsoever. By the way, and you're trying to tell me that even if they're teleporting, it doesn't make any sense because we see, and he's just in the trailer, that Freddy opens a garage door to have access to the house, meaning he couldn't just teleport into a house. And if the argument is, oh no, they got to do it from line of sight, or they can't teleport through things. Well, I'm sorry, that's bullshit, because, again, now you're trying to rationalize it. Now you're trying to define the type of teleportation they have without it even being well defined in the film. So that just doesn't freaking work. But it would make sense about the climax happened, because I'm like, how the hell did they get there? But that's the only logic I can see for that climax. So yeah, like it's not well. It might be if it is hinted, and I guess again, because how stealthy they move, you could maybe at least say it's implied. But it's not even implied very well is the problem. Now, if you're a fan, again, if you are a fan of the Five Nights at Freddy's games, then you probably know that's what the case is, and that's fine. But not everyone who goes see a movie is a fan of the franchise, is a fan of an existing IP, game, comic, whatever. So you need to, when you adapt a movie into a film, make that a clear. You need to make that clear. Basically, you need to have the understanding made. And that gets us into, I think, one of the other big problems of the film is that when we're talking about dumb decisions and characters, the 3 core ones, they're all making bad choices, but in different ways. Abby is... I'm not quite sure what it is about Abby in this movie I don't like as much as her in the first movie, because it is the same actress. But there is something about the way she's approaching the scenarios that I don't know, something is rubbing me the wrong way about her character. And the closest I can come to kind of pinpointing what it is the fact that she is 11 now. So even though she's not a teenager yet, she's a tween. She is a little older. She's dealt with this experience already once before. So I feel like she should have a little bit more wherewithal and understanding and a little bit more sense of like self-preservation. Like, I don't know. Something about this is just not clicking with the character. I still can't put my finger on what it is. Mike is probably the most relatable and likable of the three, I'd argue. Well, Abby's still likable. There's just the way he's playing it is probably the most relatable. But even he's got these dumb moments. Again, he does the damn music box moment. But even then, there's a scene where Vanessa is trying to tell him, about the original story, and he just keeps telling her to no, stop, you need to stop. Like, and then he learns it later on from like the dad of the murdered girl. Like, idiot, you dealt with supernatural possessed machines that wanted to turn you into a machine and just strip your flesh off and all that goodness, and a psycho killer in a rabbit suit. Maybe listen to the daughter of the psycho rabbit suit killer when she says something's not right. Like that, I get he's trying to protect his sister, but that was so frustrating to me. I'm like, idiot. Like, I get you're trying to move on, but this is important. Which circles us to Vanessa. And God damn it, they try so hard to make us feel sorry for her. And at points you do. Like, she got a bum rap. But the fact is, what's going on here could have been solved if she just told people shit. You know, I know what the crux of her story is here. I'm still scared of I'm not afraid of my dad. Yes, I still am. Like that dream sequence. Oh my God. That's so amazing. I'm not afraid of you anymore. Which I still don't know if that's a dream sequence or if the ghost is still haunting her. But I'm not afraid of you anymore. I'm afraid of you. Like, yeah, no, like, oh God. Now I get that with trauma. You try to stand up to the trauma and it just sometimes you're not ready. And I could see that being the analogy there, but still. But the whole crux of her story is, well, I guess I should have told you about this. Guess I should have told you about that. Oh yeah, probably should have told you about that. And maybe about that too. And maybe there's 4 or 5 things she hid. I'm not going to say what they are. Well, I mean, we talked about the first establishment. She does know about Charlotte, the marionette. There's another thing she should have told. There's at least 4 things in this movie that are relevant to what's going on that she should have told them. And she's supposed to care about these people. And I get that she's traumatized, but she's not telling them for their own good. She's telling them because she doesn't want to deal with it. Well, I'm sorry, when a little girl and a friend of yours are, lives are at stake and other people are at stake, nut the F up and tell people. Like, oh my God, it really is freaking frustrating. So when there's a parting of ways at the movie, you feel bad for her because you're like, well, she was helping. But at the same time, it's like, she omitted a lot. Like, it's like, the omission of facts really killed her character in this movie. It really did. Like, it was no bueno. No bueno. Beyond that, though, you get to the climax and you go, wait, what? What's going on here? Because you got the marionette. Oh, the marionette's not vanquished, but taken care of momentarily. Well, then you get this reveal, and now this reveal, but then, this reveal, and everything that's happening is like, this is stupid. This is so dumb, and it ends on, apparently there is a mid/post-credit scene. I looked it up, what it was. I'm like, okay, it's just teasing something that's already teased before the end of the movie. But yeah, legit, it's like, well, it's basically, get ready for the next movie. Oh, and then here's a post-credit for the next movie too. And it's just so stupid. Seriously. And again, she looks like freaking what is it? Which is it Jeff? No, not Jeff the Killer, not Tiki Toby. Is it Laughing Jack? Is that the creepypasta that's the marionette clown in the Jack in the Box that's black and white? That's what she looks like. And she looks cool. Don't get me wrong. I actually like the look. It's a nice look. But it's just so kind of out of left field. It's like, whoa! Now we're going to rule the world. Like, what the hell, man? Like, what the hell? This movie is terrible. I don't know where it would rank right now in my top 10 worst. It's pretty high, but I still have seen a couple bad movies this year. Him might be worse than this, though, by a large mile. But, Him at least has a really good performance by Marlon Wayne. Or Marlon Wayans. So, maybe, I don't know. Like, if you're asking me which one of these as a movie I'd watch again, I would probably watch this again. I liked more in this than I did in Him. But but if you're talking about like overall performances, Marlon Wayne, I can't remember. Is it Damian Wayans? Sorry, am I thinking Damian or Marlon? There's so many Wayans brothers. Hold on. Him. 1 second. Starring. Oh yeah, it is Marlon. I did get it right. It is Marlon Wayne. Damian is his brother, I believe. But yeah, Marlon Wayne's performance kicks the crap out of anything else in this movie, like as a singular good thing. But there are a few more good things in this movie. I don't know. That's a toss-up. When we get to the end of the year, like top 10s, I'm really gonna have to think over that. As it stands, do I recommend this movie? Not really. If you're a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, that's being said, I had someone comment in my out of theater reaction or out of theater review that, yeah, no, they like the film. And I'm not saying you won't like the film. I'm just saying go in with low expectations and you might have a good time. I mean, my expectations weren't high, so I'm not like super disappointed by the movie, but I wasn't expecting it to be as frustrating as. I think that's the best term I can use for this movie. It's a bad movie that's frustrating. It's very frustrating to deal with. Just because there's so many logic things that don't make, not even logic, there's so many things that don't make sense in terms of plot, narrative, and character decisions. So, yeah, ultimately, I can't really recommend it. But I'm not saying don't see it. I'm just saying I wouldn't be giving a recommendation to it. Anyway, though, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys for the next one.